There are two types of car guys in the world. Some people like to get their hands dirty, they like to tweak, tinker, and explore, whereas others want everything to work right out of the box. We find such contrasts everywhere. In the world of smartphones, it is the Apple versus Android. But today, we have two very popular subcompact SUVs that incidentally fall under the similar comparison bracket. Yes, I am talking about the Kia Syros and the Skoda Kylaq.
On paper, these two SUVs compete head-on. Both pack turbo petrol engines with proper automatic gearboxes, 5-star safety and modern features. In reality, both cater to different kind of buyers who sit on opposite extremes of similarities. So, which one is for you? Let's find out. Like a minimalist looking iPhone, the Kylaq is clean, planted and is not trying too hard to impress. Skoda's understated European design will shine through for most, especially in the right colors. The Syros, like a flagship Android, stands out in every possible way. It is flashier and tries to bring together different design cues and thus manages to stand out more. Some of you will like that too.
Now, design is a very subjective matter and it completely depends on which kind of style do you prefer. As for me, while I totally dig the quirkiness of the Kia Syros, I do prefer the function over form approach that the Skoda Kylaq takes. Why? Well, mainly because the Kia Syros here does have flashier headlamps and they look very cool, but they are on the edges of the car, even the tail lamps, and which means they are extremely prone to scratches. Something that I found the hard way during our time with the car. So you have to be extra careful with this one.
What's not subjective though are the numbers. So when it comes to dimensions, both SUVs are of the same length at 3995 millimeters and have similar ground clearances of around 190 millimeters. However, the Syros is both wider and taller, and despite its 16 shorter wheelbase compared to the Kylaq, by some Harry Potter level trickery, its cabin feels more spacious. Inside, the Syros gives you flagship Android experience. Sleek screens, lots of storage spaces and colors that pop. It's intuitive, effortless and all things tech. It's quite easy to get a hang of. The Kylaq needs a little time getting used to, but you eventually figure that out. The layout is functional, apt number of physical knobs, robust materials. It may not dazzle at the first glance, but you know it's built for an epic run.
Not just that, the Kylaq is also the one that feels more cozier. The seats offer good bolstering and support, and while you do get ventilation function both for the front two passengers, the driver and co-driver also get 6-way power adjustable seat, something that you do not find in any other car in this segment. Now the Syros also gets power adjustment, but only for the driver's seat, and that too just 4-way adjustability. But the car redeems itself by offering a seat ventilation function that is much more effective than the ones in the Kylaq. Not just here up front, but here at the back seat too. In fact, the Syros is the only car in this segment and even a segment above that offers you seat ventilation for the rear passengers as well.
The Syros also distinguishes itself by being the only made in India Kia car to offer wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in this top-end trim. Rest all models in their respective top-end trim come with wired connection. While the Kylaq 2 gets wireless suit, everything looks better on the Syros' 12.3-inch touchscreen compared to the 10-inch unit on the Skoda. In terms of visual appeal from inside, panoramic sunroof of the Syros gives it an upper hand against the Kylaq, which has a single pane unit. Practicality of both is another story.
Now it is clear that the Syros has an edge over the Kylaq when it comes to creature comforts. But what really stands out is how everything falls into the right place and the great visibility you get here. The almost upright windshield and the large windows offer you a near uninterrupted 180-degree view. And then you have an IRVM, which is one of the best you'll find in this segment, and While the Kylaq makes do with a rear camera still, here you get a 360-degree view system, which is possibly one of the best you'll find not just in this class but across the market.
Both SUVs have scored a full 5-star safety rating in Bharat NCAP crash test. Standard across all variants, both SUV offer 6 airbags, ABS, electronic stability control, traction control and ISOFIX mounts. The Kylaq goes a step further with features like rollover protection, brake disc wiping and multi-collision braking system that enhances control in emergency situations. The Syros also adds convenience-focused features in lower trims like rear-view camera, tire pressure monitoring system, which the Kylaq reserves for higher trims only. And in top variants, Syros gets the edge with advanced driver assistance system features like lane keep assist and forward collision warning. In both cases, safety is a big priority, but the Syros packs in more active safety up top. However, that comes at a cost. Driving the Syros is easy as browsing an Android. It's smooth, consistent and largely stress-free. But the Kylaq can be more playful, engaging and rewarding if you are the kind who knows how to take control.
Now the Syros is quite peppy, however it feels a bit more subdued compared to the Kylaq. Now it builds up power and speed in a gradual manner. There is turbo lag, especially in the lower revs, but as soon as you cross the 2000 RPM mark, the turbo kicks in, the engine starts feeling a bit more alive, it starts to feel a bit more energetic, and doing some triple digit numbers or gaining speed after that becomes quite easy for the car. Now both come with a 6-speed manual gearbox as an option. However, here in the Syros you get a dual clutch automatic transmission compared to the Kylaq's torque converter unit. Now you might think that the DCT in the Syros might be a bit more responsive and quick at shifting compared to the Kylaq's torque converter unit. However, compared to these two vehicles, I feel that the DCT over here is a bit slow in shifting, and it takes a while to get used to. Yes, of course, once you start driving it day in day out, you will be very used to it and you won't see it as a big problem. But today, as I'm driving this back to back, I feel that the torque converter unit on the Kylaq is slightly better. Now in terms of the Syros' on-road mannerisms, I have to say that Kia could have worked a bit more on the ride quality, because at the moment I think that it is not the best. When you're driving it alone, it is not much of a problem. It is quite decent. It offers you a nice clean ride. However, when you're driving with a full load of passengers, say 4 to 5 people, you have the whole family with you for an outing, that is when you start noticing some of its flaws. The small bumps and undulations, you do feel them. It is not harsh, it is not something that will be uncomfortable, but you do feel them. And especially the bigger potholes, that is where you start feeling the harshness, that is where the jerk comes in, and that takes away a bit from the drive experience. And that is something that I feel is where the Syros lacks when it comes to drive comfort. Now compared to the Syros, the Kylaq's output stands at 114 brake horsepower and 178 Newton meter of peak torque. Now yes, it is marginally low in terms of power, but it makes more torque. And as I mentioned earlier, it is the character of these engines that truly differentiates them. The Kylaq feels a bit more edgier, it feels a bit more agile right off the bat, it feels a bit more peppier all across. Overall, it is the Kylaq's engine that feels a bit more engaging and fun to drive and will please the driver in you. It is a rev-happy engine. We have experienced it in the Kylaq as well. In fact, you get the same setup over here with the automatic transmission. Compared to the DCT, as I mentioned earlier, this feels bit more refined, it feels a bit more engaging, and overall you will be very happy with this setup. Although there is a manual option as well, and if you really want a driver's car from the Kylaq, then you should go for the 6-speed manual gearbox option, and that is where you get that extra dose of fun. What Kylaq also does better compared to the Syros is offers you a great ride comfort. Yes, it is a bit on the stiffer side, but that has been done to achieve its great handling, but it is not uncomfortable by any means. Even those small bumps and undulations on the road, it handles them with great ease, and minimal harshness seeps into the cabin, and I truly love that. Low speeds, it is quite nice. High speeds, it's even better.
Here's the twist. The Kylaq range starts as more affordable, delivers on all the fundamentals and better performance overall. The Syros is priced higher. You're paying for polish and extras, and the fact that you are getting more bells and whistles at almost all trim levels justifies the premium. The fact also remains that the Syros has more higher spec variants on offer. If you are someone who likes control, values the drive, and wants engagement without flashy distractions, the Kylaq is your pick. It's a bit more personal and a bit more focused on the driver. But if you are more about comfort, tech, and a smoother experience for everyone sitting in the car, the Syros is your one-size-fits-all choice. A car that you buy more for the people traveling with you than yourself.
Two smart choices and two very different personalities. If you ask me, I am Team Apple. But you do let us know in the comments which team do you belong to. And if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up and share it with those who might be willing to purchase a subcompact SUV or are confused between these two choices. And if you want more such videos, keep following Car and Bike.